worked out for 18 teams.
Unreal.
And the day before the draft, I had worked out for the Spurs for the second time. And kind of just went back home and didn't really know what to expect. And my agent just said, you know, stay by your phone. And I watched the first round pretty comfortably because I knew I wouldn't be going anywhere in the first round. And second round came around, and he said a couple teams wanted to draft and stash, and I kind of just tried to bet on myself. I you know, politely declined and said, you know, we're gonna bet on ourselves here and try to get my foot in the door some other way. And as soon as the draft ended, I didn't hear my name called, and Brett and Sam were right on the phone and kind of told me their plan and what they saw in me, and I just worked my butt off ever since then.
It's amazing.
Interesting. I don't know if people understand draft and stash,
So,
even for American player.
right.
So go ahead.
And you know, draft and stash obviously is you hear your name called, but you're not necessarily automatically on the team. They just send you right overseas. Yeah. And in my opinion, you got to kind of start from square one again over there and come back and do the same process.
I mean, I think that says a lot about you as well. You're willing not to hear your name. That's pretty hard to turn down, to dream.
And I think as a player growing up, no matter who you are, to hear your name called on draft night is everyone's dream, and you got to kind of swallow your pride a little bit and be humble and say, I can make it to the NBA a different way.
Right. It's amazing how far the journey's come. Your travels last night, busy man these days it seems like. You were in New York City. It looked like an outstanding event for the Steve Nash Foundation. There was a soccer charity event. You were there. Joel Embiid was there. There's some great clips out there on the social sphere. Tell us about last night.
First off, I want to thank Steve for inviting me. It was a special night, and I hadn't kicked a soccer ball since about 8th grade. So you could tell by the way, you know, I think I was about 0 for 25 on attempted shots on goal, and you know, but it was just fun, just interacting with all the professional soccer players there, the guys that Steve know, interacting with Steve, and then Joel showed up, which was great, just to see a familiar face. And you know, as powerful as he dunks, he's got a cannon of a leg too.
And was it last summer where you and Steve Nash made a first legitimate solid connection when you guys worked out?
Yeah, so Lloyd Pierce, our former assistant coach, is with the Hawks. He played college basketball with Steve at Santa Clara, and for Steve to take time out of his busy schedule to help me with things is just kind of speaks volumes about the kind of guy he is, and it was a no-brainer to go help him with his charity for him taking time to help me.
Is he someone that you watch play, obviously, and thought maybe I can, because you do have similarities to what we call it the search dribble, the Nash dribble?
Yeah, I definitely watched him growing up and idolized the guy. But when you're out on the court working with him, the things that he teaches you, you don't even have to have a basketball in your hand, about balance, about core, the way he eats. You see why he was a 2-time MVP, and he's a special guy and a special player.
Can I put you on the spot? I ask a lot of you.
Go ahead.
TJ is a player who's always by his locker stall, at games, before games, always willing to take a question. I think we have to ask, who are you wearing tonight, TJ? Can we get a shot at TJ McConnell, maybe from the kneecaps down? I don't know if we can do that, but TJ's getup, very stellar.
You got it? There you go.
You know, I feel like I say this a lot, whether it be the hair, my clothes. I got to shout out my wife. I'm too lazy to go out and buy clothes. I tell her to just, you know, bring back what's in and everyone's wearing now. You know, I thought these were her pants when she first brought them home, but she said that's the style now, so I went with it.
That's great. Amen. I might be out after that question. I'm not sure what I can.
It's a good.
I got no fashion.
It's a good question.
Why don't we end it on this? What are your plans for the rest of the off season, basketball-wise and otherwise?
You know, I'll be here. I might go home for a couple of days here and there, but you know, the big thing is me and my wife never got to go on a honeymoon after our wedding. We just got married last September.
Wow.
We're going to Italy for 12 days. So
Where this came from?
is it as
Capri and the Amalfi Coast?
That's where we're going.
I just said it's the best place in the world.
that just makes me even more happy.
It's going to be awesome.
So we're going for 12 days, and we're excited about that.
Those pants will come in handy.
I hear that's how they dress, so I guess I'll fit in there for sure.
Too good. TJ, great seeing you, man. Enjoy
Thank
the
you
rest
for
of the
having me.
offseason.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Best.
Have fun.
TJ McConnell wrapping up his 3rd season with the 76ers. Should also mention a congratulations on the option being picked up. And real quickly, Steve, I mean, what a great story. I mean, here's a guy undrafted 3 summers ago, like you said, the story, how do you get here? And fast forward, here we are, and he just got an option picked up.
No, it's ridiculous, but it's what makes sport great, basketball in particular. Like I take my kids to games, and they almost giggle that TJ's out there playing because they see my guys and they're much bigger than him. And I just admire the heck out of him because I kind of saw his workouts here and what he's put in, and I think it's inspiring for anybody in any field to you can see. I didn't know that story, that teams called his agent and said, we're going to draft you, and said, no, if you're not going to believe in me, then I want another path. It's why he's here. It's great.
There were some guys who the Sixers brought in for pre-draft workouts the last couple days who were talking about at a couple teams. I want to say it was Boston and maybe Phoenix, that TJ still holds the record for the number of up and backs, baseline to baseline, in 3 minutes, 3 years later.
If you can, yeah.
So just a great story. TJ, as we know, was not drafted back in 2015. A dude that was big free agent pickup last year and a huge part of the 76ers core. From this past season, J.J. Redick.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10.
Being in Madison Square Garden for that night was special. I got to be with my family. I got booed. There's a lot of Duke hate. But the feeling when you get your name called is unlike anything you've ever experienced up until that point in your life, because it's something that every basketball player dreams of. It's your moment of arrival on the big stage, and to hear your name called is just a very special thing, and there's also just a sense of relief. And it ended up being that I was the 11th pick by the Orlando Magic, and the rest is history.
9,
Short season.
Yeah.
Start November.
Great draft
Hopefully we're
memories
done.
from J.J.
Exactly.
Redick. Fast forward 13 years, a huge part of the 76ers run to the 2nd round of the playoffs this past season. A man who was all over the place in basketball operations for the Sixers the last 4 years, behind the bench, video room, helping out Brett Brown, the new head coach of the Delaware Bluecoats. Connor Johnson, congratulations, man, first of all.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
I'm going to let Steve take over right here because you can certainly, I mean, relate on a lot of levels, but just breaking in to this profession. You know, TJ was talking about there's 400 some spots in the NBA. Well, it's even a narrower gap to get on a coaching staff. So Steve, why
And
don't
there's
you
a
take
lot,
it from
honestly,
here?
there's a lot more people that want to do it and think they can do it. What made you, first of all, did you always want to be an NBA coach? And 2, what was your path?
I think I have always wanted to be an NBA head coach, and I was lucky when I graduated from, I went to school in Massachusetts, a real small school, and was able to get on the Villanova staff as a graduate assistant. Spent 2 seasons there working under Coach Wright and their staff. And then Coach Billy Lang, who I think you guys probably talked to recently, he came here, he was helpful in getting me to come here, and then just kind of every year trying to get a little more responsibility, work my way up. And now I'm pretty excited to be the coach of the Bluecoats, so I'm fired up for it.
So you've been assistant, you never called the shots yet.
Right,
What
not.
are some of the things that are going through your mind as you prepare for this opportunity?
I think I've been lucky to watch Coach Brown work and work closely under him. And though I've never done it before, I think getting to see him do it's been a pretty good experience to have. And
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. I'm excited.
That's interesting. What do you think you took from Brett, and what are some of the things that maybe you didn't think about prior to watching someone coach? Because obviously Jay's different,
Right.
right?
And Coach Brown's been great just to kind of watch him build the program from the ground up, to see where we are now coming off a 52-win season, and to see where he started a couple of seasons ago, and kind of that process he's gone through, something similar in building a new program in Wilmington, new team, new building, things to be excited about. I'd say the main thing to take away. Of course, Exton knows he's great, and the player development's been a real focus of his, which will be a huge part of us in Delaware. But just the cultural aspect of building a team, building a program, the players knowing that the coach cares about them, that the coaches want them to mature and be good grown men. So I think that's kind of taking that next step as a cultural program is going to be big for us, in addition to just being all about player development all the time.
I'd love to hear from both you guys, just maybe a quick story about sacrifices you've had to make to get your foot in the door and advance in this career. We were talking just before we came back about some of the odd jobs, Steve, that you had to do just to be a volunteer assistant at Penn when you were with, or even before that.
And I'm sure Connor understands this, but a lot of young guys come up to me now and ask me, well, how do you get there? Well, first of all, I didn't make a penny coaching basketball until I was 33 years old. So they're looking at me like, wait, that's a lifetime for someone who's 22. So it takes, like we all did, I cut lawns, I worked for MAB Paints for 10 years and didn't make a lot of money. And then as that, you'll see, I don't know if you're married.
No.
So the marriage comes in, the kids come in, and all of a sudden, the pressure of just chasing your goal, but then seeing that there's other things in life that you got to take care of and still wanting to chase that goal. I think that's a decision that we all make in this profession. Every April, I just decided it was worth it. It was just, I would evaluate it and say, I can't see myself doing anything else.
Right. When I worked at Villanova, I lived in a private junior college, Harcum College, free housing. We didn't get paid. I think a lot of other people probably have worse stories, but that's kind of mine. Babysitting Coach Wright's dogs, like that became a real job of mine. But I think that sort of stuff helps you get to know the people in charge, kind of form a real relationship with Coach Wright. Like, these programs are huge. A lot of people work for him. But those sort of opportunities to kind of get to know people that can be influential in your career, I think were helpful to me, just to get kind of these few steps that I've been able to go thus far.
Yeah, it's something that, who knows, this might exist in the computer engineering field, but we're talking about basketball. But it really, you hear so many stories, and sports in general, just about relationships, how they prevail, they help people along the way, because it's like, who would have known that Billy Lang might have gotten an opportunity with the 76ers, and here you are, and who knew that Penn was on the cusp of multiple Ivy championship runs in the mid-90s before you went to corner. You just don't know when, and you don't know who it is that's going to help you, I would think, to that next step.
Well, I think everyone can relate to this. You want to be around good people.
Right.
And I was fortunate to be with Fran Dunphy. So once I got that relationship, and he had Jay Villanova, I think that's correlates to any field. And obviously, the fields that everyone wants are going to be more competitive, and you're going to have to sacrifice more if you want it. Still doesn't make us right or wrong if you decide not to. But if you're going to decide to coach, you're going to understand that it's probably going to take some time, and you're going to, as I said, hopefully hook on with some really good quality people that can help you navigate whatever career path you go.
Synergy, that seems to be a buzzword when we talk about NBA team, G League affiliates. So tell us a little bit about that. Just how much is there going to be a syncing of what happens in Delaware and what goes on up here at this level?
Our hope is a ton, that both programs are on the same page, that players can go back and forth to get real development time in Delaware, real reps and minutes that they might not be able to get at the NBA level down in Delaware, and then they get developed to a point when there's a chance for them to contribute at the NBA level, they're ready. But I think in terms of the coaches using the same terminology, drills look the same, offensive sets look the same, all that we hope to have a lot of alignment in. And I think the building is going to be huge. Having our own facility now in Wilmington, it's a smaller version of this great facility here in Camden. So when the players go back and forth, it doesn't seem like anything's different than what they're used to. That's the main goal and something that we really want to continue to get going.
That's a lot different than the D-League was looked on in the past. And it's now really used as a developmental piece, that you see teams developing guys and mid-season reps, getting 6 or 7 games, get their confidence, and then come back. And I think it is great that there is synergy.
That the players, when they go down, they're excited about going down.
Yeah.
They get a real opportunity. I think a lot of guys now, with the Sixers being as competitive as they are in playoffs and championship contention, that there won't be the same opportunities that there once were. So if we can kind of fill that gap and continue to have young players that are ready to contribute, hopefully that helps the long-term 76er outlook.
And to that end, I mean, given the state of the roster and presuming what may carry over to next season, I mean, you could be looking at a situation where potentially, maybe not outside the realm of possibilities, you could see number 10, you could see number 26, and of course some of the guys that might be picked in the second round.
Right. I think we got to be ready for that if that happens. That when they come down, we're ready for them. We know what they need to work on. We kind of can develop them as both professionals and basketball players. So when they show up here, they're ready to go and they know what to do. It's been a great challenge that I'm really looking forward to.
All right, he's 28 years old, next head coach of the Delaware Blue Coats. Congratulations, man. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Great. Good luck to you,
Coach.
Connor.
I appreciate it.
Connor Johnson with the 76ers organization the last 4 years, now in charge of the Delaware Blue Coats. It's great. Talking ins and outs of coaching. We got some stuff coming up. We're going to check in with Marissa Pilla in the social lounge in just a little bit. But now we'll go to a man who helped mentor Connor, and that is Brett Brown, sitting down with the one, the only Tom McGinnis with this exclusive interview.
It's kind of like a dream, honestly. You know, you wake up and you realize you're about to work out with the Sixers. And you come on the court and it's go time.
The Sixers don't need to try to find a savior at number 10. They need to find another solid rotation player. Probably want some shooting, some ball handling.
Coach, this has been a busy week. You've had like 20 guys come through here. What's it been like?
I mean, it's exciting. We have so many draft picks, and you're seeing people from sort of a wide swath, a wide range that we're studying. And I think that, you know, because we have so much greater clarity than we've ever had on the existing team. You know, we have Ben and we have Joel as an example. And trying to, you know, walk that line of, is it a fit? Is it for the future? How do they complement our present group?
Miles Bridges, he's a combo forward. He can play the 3, the 4. He's so athletic. He'd be great running with Ben Simmons in transition. And I also think he's a little bit underrated as a shooter and a passer. One of the best athletes in this draft.
They're going to get a good player. Maybe not a superstar caliber player. I think maybe top 7 or so. You got to fall in that range. Lonnie Walker, they could use a 2 guard.
Mikal Bridges, probably a home run for them, just a 3-and-D guy who knows his role, unselfish, can come in and play for them right away.
So in terms of, you know, the way we play, pace, space, defend, I think he checks a lot of those boxes.
It's no mystery on how I feel like I want to coach our team and grow our program, either offensively or defensively. You know, you design a workout to reflect the future of the game, how we play now, what do we have in Joel, Say, and Ben as examples, and craft the workout to reflect some of those qualities and skill packages and assess where they're at, where we think they could be with work and with sort of maturity.
It's definitely very intense. We're all fighting for that same spot, so it definitely creates a no friends in the court type of thing.
You gotta be mentally tough. You're gonna get tired, and I mean, and they know that. It's a matter of what you do when you're tired. You're going to give up, or you're going to, you know, keep trying to make shots and keep going hard.
100 threes is probably, you know, the main thing that we wanted to put him through today to see how he shoots the ball. That's actually something we do with all of our prospects is we have them go through 100 shots. You know, it gives us a platform to, you know, evaluate all of these kids.
This one, we did shoot a lot more shots than the ones I've been, but that's kind of how Coach Brown coaches.
Tell me about your impressions of Brett Brown. Was this your first chance to interact with him today, and what type of impression did he leave upon you?
He left a great impression.
He brought a lot of energy. He talked to us after. Not a lot of coaches do that.
You get into a little bit about the history of the program. You get into the realities of the city of Philadelphia. You get into how do we play, how do I coach basketball, and then listen to them a little bit. And I really want them understanding what we represent before they leave our gym.
We know what our targets will be in free agency and what we're looking for in the NBA draft.
If we pick at 10, I think we're going to get a pretty good player.
If we feel we have to do something and it's smart, then that's what we'll do. I think anything's on the table.
For the Sixers to have another lottery pick, they have a chance to get a good player there.
The Philadelphia 76ers select.
Hi everyone, I'm Marissa Pilla, the social media reporter for the night. I'll be checking in throughout tonight, giving you all the hot topics and conversations that are going across all social media platforms. But right now, I am joined with Steez and Radiant from the 76ers GC team. You guys are part of the inaugural season of the NBA 2K League. What was it like being drafted by Philadelphia?
You can take this one, go ahead.
Being drafted by Philadelphia was crazy. You know, when it first happened, you know, it was like, it didn't even seem real, but then when I first got here, you know, I met all my teammates. We all bonded, and it feels like we're all brothers. So now that we're here, it's like I couldn't even imagine being anywhere else.
Yeah. Crazy emotional roller coaster, but it was something special because you knew that the city of Philadelphia was taking you in, city of brotherly love. It's a great feeling and it's a great experience to be a part of. But at the same time, you know, we know the job that needs to be done here. We know what this city wants out of us, and so we're here for one goal in mind, and that's to win some championships.
Neither of you are from the Philadelphia area, and as part of the team, you have to live in the host city for the duration of the season. So what did you know about the city before you came here?
I didn't know much. You know, I lived in Michigan my entire life, so coming here was totally different. You know, way more traffic, bigger city. So, you know, now that I'm here, it's like I love it. So it's just great being here.
I knew, you know, obviously the Philadelphia Eagles had just won the Super Bowl, so I knew that we were coming into that championship mentality of a team and a city, and I just knew there was a great environment. We'd always have a community that was there to support us at all times, win or lose, highs and lows, so that's a good feeling to have.
Now that you know the city a little bit better, what tips would you give to someone who gets drafted by Philadelphia tonight?
I would say my biggest tip, and one of the things that I thought about when I got drafted, was to embrace the city as much as possible. You know, embrace the moment, have fun, but at the same time, you have to realize that, you know, you're here for a reason, and not a lot of people are blessed with this kind of situation to be put in. So have fun, but at the same time, do your job.
Now, NBA prospects go through combines and workouts in order to get drafted. What was your process like in getting drafted into the 2K League?
You know, we went through a combine of our own. Basically, it was virtual, so, you know, we had to play 40 games minimum. You go in there, you try to do the best you can, and they selected, first they selected 250 people from that, and then they narrowed it down to 102, and we're just blessed to be here, honestly. We got selected, so here we are.
It was, yeah, like you said, big process. 72,000 people competed for this spot to showcase your talents. And once it got dropped down to 250 people, you know, you had some interviews with the NBA, and after that, you just fingers crossed, prayed, and then eventually we received a call saying that we made the top 102 people in the world that were decided to be in this draft for the 2K League. And so it was a surreal experience. I remember I was going crazy in my house by myself, and then we had our draft at Madison Square Garden, which was actually really interesting. And then that's where the 76ers GC picked us, and now we are here, and this is us.
So to narrow it down from thousands of people competing, and you guys are now part of that inaugural league. Before you started gaming, you were a financial advisor. Yeah. So what was that transition like, going from that type of job to now gaming?
I mean, that was a great job, and it was always fun. The problem was, you know, you want to do something that you're passionate about in life, and I always found that video games was always my passion. After football, after playing that, it was fun to get away from that and play video games, and also have that competitive edge. So I saw my opportunity to make this a career, and I went for it.
Your season runs May through August. Currently in season right now, have a game coming up. How has this season been going?
I feel like it's been going about as good as we wanted it to, besides a few tough games. But like, we won the first tournament, so I feel like that was a great start. And I feel like we're doing better than anyone thought we would. But we knew we were going to do this, but now we just got to improve for the rest of the season. You know.
Knew what we had something special here as a unit and a brotherhood, and we went into that first tournament, and we decided that we were going to have that underdog mentality, but give it our best shot. And we ended up winning the tournament, and now we're doing really well this season, and we actually have a game tomorrow against Orlando Magic at 6:00 p.m. on Twitch, and so we're going to have to get another W there and continue out the season and get a ring at the end of it.
For those who aren't familiar with the 2K League, how do you train for your games? How do you get ready?
Basically, we play against each other, or you know, play against other people 5-on-5, just work on plays, work on things we do in game to try to, you know, try to perfect what we do best. And basically that's it. So
it's like traditional sports. You know, there's a lot of film that goes into it, a lot of practice, preparation, on-court, off-court stuff, but just very traditional.
So once again, I'm here with Steez and Radiant from the 76ers GC team. They've got a game tomorrow. Make sure to check it out. Now I'll send it back to Brian.
GC, thanks so much for that insight and wisdom. Listen, we got 1 hour in the books already, Coach Donahue, but now we got the main event coming up in a matter of minutes. Phoenix will be on the clock in a matter of moments, and we'll be right back bringing you live pick-by-pick analysis. Heavy Sixers focus here on 76ers Draft Live. Stay with us.